Want to make more money in your business? Do you want to take your personal development to the next level? Do you want to have better relationships with people? Today, I'll show you a 4-step framework in which you can go from where you are currently to where you'd like to be.
Everything that happens is motivation.
All right, so back to the 4-step framework. The first is C, right? And C stands for clarity. Like getting clarity is probably the most important thing that you can do as an individual, just getting clarity, right? And the way I work this is I ask myself 2 questions. 1, what do I actually want? Like not what do people want me to want, but like what do I actually want out of life, out of something that I'm doing, out of a project, out of an objective? What do I want from this relationship? Right, get clear. Right, and once you ask that first question, the trick is to ask yourself again. Right, ask yourself in a different way though. Okay, what are my intentions behind doing this thing? What about this thing will make me happy or bring me joy? What would make me feel accomplished if I accomplish this thing? But you get the gist. By asking yourself that second question, right, wording it differently, it forces you to put yourself into a different perspective, right? And once you actually ask the question, your brain starts formulating an answer for it, right? So you're able to get clarity on a deeper level. So 1, you're gonna get the top answer, right? And then the second time, you're gonna get the a little bit deeper meaning. And honestly, you can keep going with this. I think it's like 7 times you really get to the true heart of what you want. But at least 2 times, right? So ask yourself the question at least 2 times. 1, what do you want? 2, reword it in a different way. So that way you're not only thinking of the question, but it forces you to think in a different perspective and get a different answer. All right, so next is L, which is for learn. Now, I'm all for learning. I'm all for getting the education. I'm all for getting all that information into your brain, into your heart, into your soul. But one of the biggest things, right, one of the biggest pitfalls when it comes to personal development, business development, is that we information overload. Like there's too much information. Like there's literally too much. Like there's books, there's videos, there's courses. Literally, it's making my head hurt. But the second part of this is practice. Like we talking about practice. Like we literally talking about practice. Like in order to go from where you want to be, in order to go from where you are to where you want to be, 1, you have to get the education, right? Here and here. And next, you have to actually put into practice, right? So practice is a form of learning. Practice allows you to take what you know and apply it. But you do it in such a low risk setting that you're able to learn from your mistakes without the punishment, right? Without the repercussions of a failure. Right. So I always recommend, so whether it's a learning how to sell, right? Whether it's role playing, where you can get into a situation and go through a role play example of how you would sell and pitch a product, or even if it's simply creating your minimal viable product, your MVP, and just having that, that is the form of practice within product-based businesses. Like coming up with the minimal viable product is a form of practice, right? Your biggest thing is that you want to get out of here and start doing things, right? For we know the things that are seen were created from the things unseen, right? So get from the unseen and make it happen. Next, E, which stands for execute. Now, for me, execute doesn't necessarily mean I did a thing and it happened for me. Like I got the outcome that I wanted. More so I said I was going to do a thing and I did it. Like, well, what do you mean? Doesn't that mean the same thing? No. What it means is that you had an objective or an activity and you did that activity, right? Win, lose, or draw, you did it. Right, so great. If you got the outcome you wanted, hooray. But if you didn't, this allows you, when you view it objectively, okay, I said I was going to sell 1,000 bananas, whatever. The 1,000 bananas would be the outcome. The activity would be the selling. Did you do the activity of selling in order to move the bananas? Like, did you do what you need to do in order to actually do the activity? right? So if it's practice singing, right? So you can perform on the weekend. Did you actually go to rehearsal? Like, were you doing the activity? Did you execute? Did you do the thing that you said you were going to do? Right? We get away from goals, but we more so move towards objectives. Sticking to the activity that you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. So that way, you not only hold your word to yourself, but people around you start to see that you're actually reliable and that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Right? So this is another way, just one, to move forward and get out of our minds, but also to build confidence in yourself. So next, O, right, which is outcome. Now, outcome for me is win, lose, or draw. This is what happened. Like, this is just what happened. So I don't want us to view it as a negative or positive, right? I've been recently doing some studying, and I believe it's Myron Golden put it like this: either it's working on you or it's going to work for you. But either way, it's going to work, right? So it's going to work on you or it's going to work for you. So great if you got the victory, right? Hooray. It worked out. But if it didn't work out how you thought it would, then it's working on you, right? And this is just a mind-changing way to think about it, because many of us are stuck to a certain outcome. Like, we want this to happen so bad that if it doesn't happen, right, we become depressed, we become down. And there's so much more to it when you actually start working on the thing, when you start doing the thing, when you start doing the activity, right? And you take the outcomes as they come, and you use that, right? Use that to pivot, to make a change, to make a shift, so that way you can address, maybe where you fell short and maybe what you did positive, right? So it's not all about, okay, like this didn't work out. Oh, it wasn't meant to be. No, like, delayed does not mean denied. Sometimes you have to change a thing in order to do it better. All right, so those are the 4 steps. That's a 4-step framework. CLEO. First, you want to make sure you have clarity. Second, you want to make sure that you're learning, actively practicing. E, you want to make sure that you're actually executing on what you say you were going to do. Then O, you want to accept the outcome, no matter good, bad, draw. All right, we'll see you next time next week.